Hello everyone, Britt here from Scrappy Boy Stamps, and today we're going to do a tutorial of the pirate ship die. Feel free to follow along with the little picture on the back, and let's cut all of our pieces. You'll have 3 shorter pieces that fit across the top of each sail. The technical term for this piece of a ship is actually called a yard, and you'll cut each of these pieces one time. This die set comes with the option to create waves under your ship. We are going to include it, so cut the base of the waves one time. You'll have 3 base layers for your sails in various sizes, and you'll want to cut these each one time. You have the option to add 3 little arched windows to the side of your ship. For this project, I cut them twice to get a different color for the interior and the frame of the windows. If you're including it, you'll cut the detail layer of your waves one time, and the 3 slightly longer strips are called the masts. These hold up your sails, and you will cut each one time. The top layer of each sail is where you will want to add color or pattern, and you'll cut each sail one time in the color of your choosing. As you can see, the color of the base layer doesn't really matter because these pieces will be a full cover top layer. It's a little difficult to see here, but the body of the ship actually cuts the shape and embosses lines into the side to make the ship look like it is made of wood. Lastly, you'll cut the railing that goes at the top of the ship one time, and we're including this optional piece, the little anchor, which I cut one time. First, we want to piece together the body and the railing of the boat. If you're feeling less confident about your assembly skills, I would actually recommend just gluing these pieces directly to your card project. But because I wanted to show you what was possible, I'm going to put this together independently of the finished project. The base and the railing of the ship fit together perfectly, and with a few thin pieces of low-tack tape, I'm going to secure the 2 together. While this is a temporary hold for purposes of the tutorial, you could use Scotch tape or even washi to get a more permanent hold. When I attach this to my card, I'm going to apply liquid glue to the back of both pieces, so it won't matter if this is only a temporary hold. These smaller card dies aren't necessarily made with the base layer the way that the larger card dies are, but if you wanted that look, you could very easily adhere these pieces to some contrasting cardstock and simply cut around the design. Now that the pieces of our ship are together, let's add some detail. These small arched windows come out of the die in 2 pieces. The small window die will give you 3 frames and 3 panes. In order to add dimension and contrast, I cut these windows twice. I kept the frame and the pane from the set that I cut in black, and only kept the frame from the set that I cut in brown. First, I'll take the black set, which I have not separated, and I'm going to place 2 of the windows on the bow of the ship, or the front, and 1 of the windows on the stern of the ship, or the back. It's up to you where you place the windows on your ship. There's no predetermined spot, nor are there a predetermined number of windows that you need to include. It would even be okay to leave them off entirely if you wanted to go with a more simple look. Second, I'll bring in just the window frames that I cut from brown paper. And because I already laid down the frame shape once in the black layer, when I stack the brown frame directly on top of it, it will add dimension and depth to the frame. Now, I love the way these little arch windows look. They give this ship a fun and playful, distinctive style that I think fits so well with other Scrappy Boy products. But you could always experiment with some other shapes from your stash. I think a little circle would make the perfect porthole. Next, we're going to assemble this optional piece where your pirate ship can live. This piece is really easy to put together because the die that cuts the base also embosses a placement guide for the smaller pieces right into the paper. All you have to do is match up the piece that you're trying to lay with the same embossed shape on the placement guide. Even though this piece is optional, I actually think it is one of the most versatile pieces in the whole die set. I could think of lots of applications where you could use this wave pattern not only to be a base for the pirate ship as it was originally intended, you could also cut many of these and make an entire ocean, which would work not just for your pirate ship, but anything that lives in the ocean could be put in these waves. I'm also eager to try them using a white on white application in order to create clouds. I even think with the right colors, maybe red, black, and orange, it could be used to create lava for cards that feature things like dinosaurs. With that done, it's time to put together our sails. Start by attaching the yard of the sail across the top of each sail base, matching them by size. Once those have been adhered, place the top layer of each sail on each sail base, matching them again by size. You'll know everything is placed correctly because these 2 pieces will completely cover the base of the sail. Lastly, we'll attach each sail to the mast that matches it by size. The correct placement of the sail will allow just a bit of the top of the mast to stick up over the top of the yard. As you can probably tell, I definitely looked up diagrams to tell me what the different parts of a ship were called. I encourage you to do this too. Not only did it give me a really nice language to use, it also gave me lots of ideas of how to assemble the ship differently next time. Now that all of our pieces are built, it is easy peasy to put this thing together. When I looked at photo references, this seemed to be the most common way that sails were arranged, with a larger mainsail in the middle and a smaller sail at the front and back of the ship. Once the sails were adhered, I only had to use some liquid glue to attach the waves to the bottom of my pirate ship, and because I couldn't resist to finish it off, I added that cute little anchor floating in the sea to the side of my pirate ship. And before you can say, "Arr, shiver me timbers," you've got the cutest little pirate ship on this side of the Caribbean. This little pirate ship is a little bit of an older die in the Scrappy Boy Stamps catalog, but I had a lot of fun combining it with the new I Love Pirates 6x6 pattern paper. One of the other products I was really excited to pull out for this project was the Under the Sea Confetti Shaker Plate. This plate cuts lots of little starfish, seahorses, coral, and seashells. Off camera, I cut the plate several times, and instantly I had my own shaker mix that I had created to coordinate perfectly with the colors I plan on using in my project. I knew I wanted to use all my pirate party elements to make a fun nautical shaker card. And what's more piratey than a porthole? Off camera, I used some generic nested circle dies and cut a thick circle frame from gold cardstock and dollar store foam board, as well as 2 acetate circles that will complete our window. First, I'll use liquid glue to attach one acetate panel to my dollar store foam board ring. I do recommend leaving this to dry for a bit. I just cut out the drying time from the video. Here's a top tip for using the paper confetti that you get using our shaker confetti plates. If you have some in your stash, mix in some other shaker elements like sequins or beads, which are heavier and will help your paper elements move around in your shaker window a little easier. Also, admit it, it's never wrong to add a little bit more sparkle and shine to your shaker cards. Once I'm satisfied with my sequins, I'm going to go ahead and add my paper confetti. Here's a PSA from me about thinking ahead a little bit when you're cutting your paper confetti. I cut one of my confetti shapes in a gold cardstock that was single-sided. Now that might not be a very big deal to you. What I ended up having to do was go in and find the pieces that had landed face down and manually turn them over, so when I closed my shaker window, those pieces would be gold instead of seeing the backing, which was white. Using a double-sided paper, like all of the papers from Scrappy Boy Stamps, will actually eliminate this step, but you do you, boo. Now here's another secret of how to make your shaker bits move a little bit better. Use 2 pieces of acetate. Cardstock against other paper or cardstock causes more friction. It's 2 substrates made from wood, and they're going to be more textured than a piece of smooth plastic. Giving your paper confetti 2 smooth surfaces will definitely help it move more freely. Once I use my tape runner to add the gold circle frame, my shaker panel is finished and I'm ready to put all of my elements together and create my card. My finished card size will be 6x6, so I'm just cutting down this pattern paper so that when I adhere it to my note card, it will leave a small border around the outside. I also knew that this particular pattern was just a little too busy for me to leave it as the only background of my whole card. So I pulled out my generic nesting circle dies one more time and cut a circle from that blue Swiss dot pattern paper, the same size as my shaker window. I could not wait to get these cute kids pirate stamps out of the package and all colored up so that I could put them on my card. As you can see, I toyed with the idea of putting the ship and all of the other elements on the outside of the shaker, but ultimately I really wanted the ship to look like it was inside of the window. So I used my liquid glue and I mounted that pirate ship to the Swiss dot circle before I attached my shaker panel. That thick frame really gives me a great place to liberally apply my glue to make sure that the acetate is going to stick to my card. And although I did cut it out of the video, I did leave this alone a little bit to dry. Non-porous surfaces like an acetate need a little more time to dry than, say, a cardstock. Once that panel was dry enough, I took a tape adhesive, I like Tombow Mono, and I attached the panel to my card base. I really think trimming up my pattern paper for the background really paid off. I was able to use a red card base and draw out some of those red tones from the rest of the elements. Now here you see me cutting a little bit of a strip off of my dollar store foam board. I knew that some of my stamped elements would basically hang off of the side of the porthole. Stacking up the foam board underneath my stamped elements allows me to create a flat, even surface to make sure my elements have proper stability. I stack up my foam board pieces with some liquid adhesive, and then I'll use that stack to stabilize the bottom right-hand corner of that image with the palm tree. Creating a stable, even surface when you pop up elements off of the background is one of the things that really helps keep handmade cards from warping over time. For my cute boy pirate and his little parrot friend, double-sided adhesive was my best bet to keep the cute little pirate boy and his parrot friend attached to the card permanently. And I'll tell you what, I just love that little parrot. He's so adorable. I don't know if it'll ever be, but one of these days I'm gonna try to convince Scrappy Boy that we need a cute pets. Just the pets without the people. That way you can put the pets with whatever people you like. Once our little pirate princess was attached with some foam adhesive as well, it was time to add some finishing touches to the porthole. I went through some of my old die sets and found the teeniest, tiniest little circle die I could find. And I cut enough small gold circles to create the rivets that would attach my porthole's frame to the hull of the ship. Here's a little tip for when you are putting together an idea that you had that requires you to evenly space out elements. Start in the middle of the design with your first piece, and then evenly space the next few pieces from the right to the left, going back and forth. It's a really easy way to make everything look even, but not have to measure. Lastly, I added a sentiment from our stamp set, "Hello, bootyful." You know, like pirate booty. With a shake, 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 just to make sure it still works, our card is done. Now, you know I always make a second example, and I wanted to show you that you absolutely do not have to make something as elaborate as a shaker card in order to use the pirate ship to its full potential. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for sticking with me today. We love our little crafty community, and we definitely could not do any of this without you. If you want to be a bigger part of that community and you have not done so already, come and follow us on the Scrappy Boy Instagram and the Scrappy Boy Stamps Inspiration Group on Facebook. There you'll find updates, new releases, and some amazing inspiration from our awesome design team. And don't forget to visit scrappyboy.com, where you can find most of the stamps and dies featured in this video. You'll find all the links below in the description box, including where you can find more from me. Last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Scrappy Boy YouTube channel so you don't miss any more uploads. I don't know that many good pirate jokes. If you have one, drop it down in the comments. However, I do know one relevant fact about pirates, and that is that a pirate's favorite subject in school is art. See you next time, mateys. Bye-bye.